Hello, dear students. Welcome to software engineering classes. In the previous lecture, we have gone through function oriented design, in which we studied about problem partition, abstraction, and strategies of design. In continuation of that, in today's lecture, we will discuss about module level concepts and we will deeply focus over coupling and cohesion. So let's have a look. Following topics to be covered in today's lecture as module, modularity, module coupling, module cohesion, and relationship between coupling and cohesion. So first of all, have a look on module. A module is a logically separable part of a program. It is a program unit that is discrete and identifiable with respect to compiling and loading. In programming terminology, a module can be a macro, a function, a procedure, or we can say subroutine, a process, or even a package. In system using functional abstraction, a module is usually a procedure of function. Now have a look on modularization. Modularization is the process of dividing a software system into multiple independent modules, where each module works independently. There are many advantages of modularization in software engineering. Some of these are given below, like easy to understand the system maintenance is easy, a module can be used many times as their requirements. That means simply reusing of module. Now have a look on module coupling. Coupling is a measure of the degree of interdependence between the modules. A good software will have low coupling. Now look at this diagram. In this, these four circles are representing four different modules, but no one is going to be connected with any module. So that means this is a case when modules are uncoupled, or we can say there is no dependency on each and every module. This is the second case in which we can see some modules are connected with each other. So this is a case of loosely coupled, in which we are having some sort of dependencies. This is the third case, which is highly coupled and having many dependencies. You can see one particular module is going to be connected with the rest of all the modules. So these three cases may be there with respect to module coupling. Now let's understand module coupling better with the help of example. Consider a case of editing a student record in a student information system. Now look at this case. If we want to edit a student record, then in this pass we have to provide a student name, a student ID, address, and course. On the basis of these given information, we can retrieve a student record as it is the arrow mentioning from bottom to top, a student record end of file. In this case, because so many parameters are needed to be passed to access this particular database, that's why we can say this is a case of tight coupling, which is actually a poor designing example. However, this is the second case having the same example, but just to retrieve a student record, we are going to pass only one parameter or one attribute, that is a student ID. And on the basis of this student ID, we are getting entire record till end of the file. This is loose coupling, which is considered as good design. So this is the case with module coupling. Now have a look on module coupling types. Module coupling can be classified into 6 different types as follows. So these are the 6 different types, starting from data coupling, stamp coupling, control coupling, external, common, and content. On the right hand side of the table, you can see the degrees. That means data coupling is will considered as best type of coupling, whereas content coupling is considered as worst type of coupling. Now, for better understanding, consider two procedures A and B. We can identify numbers of ways in which they can be coupled. So, have a look on data coupling. The dependency between module A and B is said to be data coupled if their dependencies is based on the fact they communicate by only passing of data. That means only data is being passed between these two modules. This is the best type of coupling. Second best is stamp coupling. Stamp coupling occurs between module A and B when complete data structure is passed from one module to another module. Third type of coupling is control coupling. Module A and B are said to be control coupled if they communicate by passing of control information. This is usually accomplished by means of flags that are set by one module and reacted upon by dependent module. Another coupling is external coupling. In external coupling, the modules depends on other modules external to the software being developed or to a particular type of hardware. For example, any specific protocol, any external file, device format, etc. Next type of coupling is common coupling. With common coupling, module A and B have shared data. Global data areas are commonly found in programming languages. Making a change to the common data means tracing back to all the modules which accesses that data to evaluate the effect of changes. Another type of coupling is content coupling. In a content coupling, one module can modify the data of another module or control flow is passed from one module to the another module. This is the worst form of coupling and should be avoided. So these were the types of module coupling. Now have a look on module cohesion. Cohesion is a measure of the degree to which the elements of the module are functionally related. A good software design will have high cohesion. Now look at this diagram. All rectangles are representing different modules. Now look at any particular module having 4 arrows towards inside. That means it is showing the degree to which the elements of the modules are functionally related. Or we can say this is representing module strength. Module cohesion can be classified into 7 different types as follows. So these are the 7 types of module cohesion, starting from functional cohesion, sequential cohesion, communicational cohesion, procedural cohesion, temporal cohesion, logical cohesion, and coincidental cohesion. So in the right hand side of the table, you can see functional cohesion is considered as best or high type of cohesion, whereas coincidental cohesion is considered as either worst or low type of cohesion. So let's have a look all the cohesion types one by one. Very first is functional cohesion, which is the best type. Every essential element for a single computation is contained in the component. A functional cohesion performs the task and functions. It is an ideal situation. Sequential cohesion. An element outputs some data that becomes the input for other element. It means data flow between the parts. It occurs naturally in functional programming languages. Third type of cohesion is communicational cohesion. Two elements operate on the same input data or contribute towards the same output data. For example, update record into the database and send it to the printer. Next one is procedural cohesion. Elements of procedural cohesion ensure the order of execution. Actions are still weakly connected and unlikely to be reusable. For example, calculate student GPA, print student record, calculate cumulative GPA, print cumulative GPA, etc. Another type of cohesion is temporal cohesion. The elements are related by their timing involved. A module connected with temporal cohesion, all the tasks must be executed in the same time span. This cohesion contains the code for initializing all the parts of the system. Next one is logical cohesion. The elements are logically related and not functionally. For example, a component reads inputs from tape, disk, and network. All the code for these functions is in the same component. Operations are related, but the functions are significantly different. Next type of cohesion is coincidental cohesion. The elements are not related. The elements have no conceptual relation other than location in the source code. It is accidental and the worst form of cohesion. For example, print next line and reverse the characters of a string in a single component. So these were the basic idea about all types of module cohesion. It's time to have a look on a relationship between cohesion and coupling. If the software is not properly modularized, a host of seemingly trivial enhancement or changes will result into death of the project. Therefore, a software engineer must design the modules with goal of high cohesion and low coupling. So this is the punchline with respect to module coupling and module cohesion that I would like to repeat: high cohesion and low coupling. Now have a look on this diagram in which we have mentioning on the left hand side high coupling and on the right hand side we are having low coupling. So both these diagrams are representing view of cohesion and coupling. On that ground, we can understand that how cohesion should be high and coupling should be low for a better software design. So this is all about for today's lecture. For preparing this lecture, I have taken references from following books and internet resources. Thank you.